the record button. And again, we are very, very excited for you. You are part of the most impressive, most dynamic, most academically accomplished, largest, and I would say most exciting class of admitted international students in the history of Loyola Marymount University. So there's a lot of things to be excited about because of that. And we will share a lot more information about what's new at LMU and the opportunities that will be available to you this year because of the fact that you've been admitted to this incredible group of students. And again, we're very, very excited that you're here. I am also excited to be joined by my colleagues on the international admissions team. You'll see their pictures in just a minute here as well. But we couldn't ask to work with a better group of people than Christy Culp, Paul Kim, and Ronnie Martinez, who again, you'll see their pictures in here in just a little bit. But they're also here to help with responding to chat questions as they come up, and also to help with some of the question and answer portion as we go a little bit later. Okay? So, again, very, very excited for you. And this is a picture of our beautiful campus. We do want to let you know that we have, as I'm sure all of you are experiencing, some disruptions in what we're used to in terms of our routine right now, in that LMU is experiencing the coronavirus situation like many of you around the world are. Just want to give you an update about that. Again, this is our beautiful campus. We miss being on our beautiful campus right now. We actually are having classes online for the rest of the semester. And our students, for the most part, are at home. And with that in said, we are focusing as much as we can on our efforts to make sure our students are very well taken care of and connected to our campus in the midst of this unprecedented time. But this gives you a sense of the beautiful, beautiful campus that is LMU, and the one that we hope that you can join in the very near future. But again, as far as this presentation goes, you'll see we'll talk a little bit more about some of the statistics involved with the admission that you've achieved this year, some updates about LMU, information about student life, opportunities for you to discuss the next steps, especially in the new international student orientation, and also just reinforcing the fact that Iggy the Lion and the rest of us on campus are very, very excited for you and excited that you've taken the time to join us today. So first of all, as I mentioned previously, you are part of the largest and most dynamic class of admitted international students in LMU's history. As you can see here, over 18,000 applications, and we're anticipating an incoming first year class of about 1,470 students. Again, we have admitted more international students this year than ever before. The average academics track in terms of test scores that were submitted and things like that are higher than ever before as well. So it's just important to reinforce the fact that we are very excited to have a very dynamic and a very engaged group of international students who are admitted to the campus this year. And it's important to know that international students are a very important and crucial part of our student body at LMU. So they represented 12% of the incoming first year class last year. Overall, about 11% of the university are international students, and they come from 90 different countries. So representing a lot of different places around the world, and they bring a huge, huge contribution to making our campus a dynamic learning environment. There's a lot that's new at LMU. These are some of the things you want to keep in mind that we'll talk about a little bit later. But the important thing to keep in mind is that LMU is really an institution that has a lot of momentum going for it and a lot of tremendous opportunities that are taking place on our campus. This, to give you a sense as well, it's a very beautiful place to be. You can see the Pacific Ocean here. It's about 1 kilometer away. If you're wondering, yes, we have surfing clubs and things like that. But one of the things that's often overlooked or not known about Los Angeles is actually the mountains are not too far from our campus as well. So if you wanted to surf and ski in the same day, it is possible. And so you could definitely be part of that outdoor adventure. But it's certainly a place that offers a lot of natural beauty and a lot of great things to do in a tremendous city like Los Angeles. And this is a little more about one of the things that's most exciting over the last few months is the fact that the LMU has just joined the national rankings of institutions in the US News and World Report. Our first year being ranked nationally. Previously, we were ranked in the regional institutions in the West Coast of the United States. And so as of this year, we're now number 64 in the United States, which really demonstrates that we are an institution that's got a lot of national and international recognition. So we're very excited about that. And we'll talk about how there's not, whatever you might have been admitted into is just one part of what this makes university so great. So we are known for incredible programs in a lot of different areas, anything from the hard sciences like engineering or the life sciences, to things within our incredible College of Business, to our phenomenal School of Film and Television, to some really phenomenal programs in our College of Liberal Arts, and really everything in between. So we're talking about an institution that no matter what you choose to study, we offer a lot of really great opportunities there, and also a lot of connections between the institution, between the areas of study you might be interested in. So if you're interested in studying a particular course of study, but then dabbling in other areas, this LMU is a place that really strongly encourages students to keep that in mind. Also, this is an important part to mention about our Jesuit identity, and that is a very important consideration as well. If you're not familiar, and hopefully you are by now, what it means to be a Jesuit school, I always emphasize 3 main points. The first being it's a type of place that really emphasizes individual attention. So for example, we are very, very intentionally making sure we're connecting with all of our students in the midst of our online classes right now. We're making sure that they know that we are caring for them and we want the best for them. We're developing all of our online resources to make sure that we can support our students wherever they may be. But it's definitely a type of place that really focuses on the care for the individual. The second is really strong emphasis on global perspectives and global awareness. So obviously, international student population plays a big role in that, but also the opportunity to take classes in a lot of different subjects and make interdisciplinary connections is certainly something we really emphasize quite a bit. The third component is a really strong emphasis on community service and community engagement. So although our students are not required to be involved in any community service types of initiatives, that's a huge part of the LMU experience. And so students are involved in lots of different projects, whether in the course in the city of Los Angeles or around the world. And so that's certainly something that's a big component of ours, the idea of being a person for others, someone who's generous with your time, your talents, and your abilities. So you'll see here that this is our beautiful chapel, which is a big part of the campus, a beautiful part of the campus to be able to see the view of the rest of Los Angeles down below. Our expectation is that students take 2 philosophy and 2 theology classes over the course of their time with us, thinking about why they see the world the way that they do and what faith tradition they may have, and exploring that in conversation with other students. But there's no expectation that students attend any kind of religious services or anything along those lines. So it's definitely a big part of the fabric of the institution, but we have students who come from lots of different faith backgrounds and traditions, and they really appreciate the fact that it's a place that really focuses on the ability to be engaging and in dialogue and with other with religions from lots of different backgrounds and traditions, or for students who have no religious background whatsoever. And we actually have a wonderful video that I would love to share with you, but I'm not sure that Zoom will really do it justice. So we'll go ahead and skip that and go on to the Playa Vista campus, another really exciting initiative that has actually just been around for about a year. And so as you'll see that where our location is on a map in just a second, we have a wonderful location within the city of Los Angeles. So we are very close to the LAX International Airport, which is one of the world's busiest and offers you connections to very easily be able to return to your home. But also we are very close to what's called the tech sector in Los Angeles. And so I'll give you a little more a flavor exactly what that looks like in just a second, but it's called the Silicon Beach area in Los Angeles, specifically Playa Vista is the heart of that area. And so about a year ago, we actually opened up a brand new campus, which focuses on primarily our Graduate School of Film and Television and our Graduate College of Business Administration, which is in the heart of that Silicon Beach area. So we actually are in one of the levels of this particular building. We actually have Facebook as our neighbor within the same facility. Google is down the street. There's a lot of other tech companies. We have a whole list a little bit later in the presentation, or a partial list actually, because there's so many more. There also are 500 startups within a very short distance of campus as well. So it's the type of place that really offers a lot of opportunity for innovation and opportunity for connections with some of the most innovative companies in the world today. We also offer a great shuttle that takes you down to the Whole Foods market, for example, if you want to go to the grocery store. Once the movie theater is up and running again, that's very close to as well. So again, it's a place that offers a lot of really great connections for you to consider within that campus. The other thing that's very exciting for us as well is we are in the midst of constructing brand new residence halls. And so one of the things that's very exciting about that in terms of international student perspective is that it's responding to a lot of the feedback we've received over the years from international students. So these halls specifically will have single rooms in them. They're set up in pod style, meaning that there's a central room and then each student has an individual room, which is a little bit different than the more traditional residence halls. As you can see here, it's also offering some state-of-the-art, very innovative facilities that'll be included in those residence halls. So we're very excited about this opportunity. We're adding about 400 beds. And so you can see there's two different sets of this complex here. If you're looking at the picture on the left, there actually is a first-year residence hall as well as an upperclassman residence hall that'll be part of this complex. We're very, very excited about what that'll mean for the institution. It's important to keep in mind that we do not require any student at any point to live on campus, but we find that the students who do choose to live on campus typically are more engaged with the campus community. They typically have higher academic results. And generally speaking, we find that it's a really powerful part of the experience of being an LMU student is the opportunity to really be able to connect with your fellow classmates in the residence halls. So we definitely encourage our students to consider those options. Again, at no point are international students required to do that, to live on campus, or any student really, but we certainly find that's certainly something that students have demonstrated a lot of great outcomes because they've been part of the residence halls. So we've been working on that construction for quite a while now. We're expecting that'll be available for the fall semester. And so we're very excited what that additional amount of beds will mean for us. But also I think it just reinforces the fact that it is a very residential campus. So about 94% of our first year students live on campus. And so that is very much the common experience, at least for the first year, so that students can really connect with their classmates, that they can support each other in terms of study habits and types of activities outside of the classroom as well, and really get a chance to make sure that they have a really positive experience with us. So again, definitely want to encourage you to explore that a little further. We also are excited, always looking to innovate in terms of the type of academic offerings we have. Again, it's important to keep in mind that although you haven't admitted directly into your major at LMU, you're more than welcome to consider additional opportunities in terms of double majors or minors or things along those lines. So our journalism major, for example, and we find that in this era, journalism has become more important than anything than ever has been before in terms of helping people really understand the reality of the coronavirus. We find that there's a lot of great connections you can make with our journalism major and a lot of opportunities for you to explore that the possibilities there. Also having a minor in things like international documentary production, as well as many other different options in terms of minors as well. So a really wide variety of possibilities for you to consider. Film and television media studies is another one as well for you to consider if you think of yourself as a critic or someone who wants to explore media on that more analysis lens. Again, the important thing to keep in mind here is that we offer a ton of different possibilities for you to really think about. Even if you're someone who wants to be, say, a filmmaker, maybe you're also interested in the hard sciences. If you're someone who wants to be a biology major, maybe you really have an interest in dance as well. And so we really want you to explore a lot of the different possibilities and explore especially the interdisciplinary aspects of all those different careers you can consider. So again, we're very, very excited when students take the opportunity to really explore all their different academic interests. Typically, when we're talking about a minor, we're talking about a concentrated amount of classes, so anywhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 8 courses about a specific topic of interest. Whereas if you wanted to explore a double major, you're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 12 courses specifically for that major. We also offer a lot of really great hands-on learning experiences. And so for example, this is a really great experience for you to consider. This is part of a connection with some of the great companies that are located very close to us. So SpaceX was co-founded by an LMU mechanical engineering graduate, and also its headquarters is located not far from our campus as well. And so the Hyperloop competition was focused on the future of transportation. And so this group here, we're all students in a variety of disciplines on our campus who decided to come together and join a competition against other universities from around the world, some of them being incredibly powerful institutions that are really well known for their hard sciences and engineering courses. And LMU students really made a positive contribution to that competition and advanced very far along into it. And so it kind of gives you a sense of the hands-on, the experiences that you'll be able to have, the opportunity to connect with the professors. One of the things that's really hallmark at LMU is the fact that our average class size is about 20 students, and the faculty to student ratio is about 10 to 1. So again, you're looking at a place that will really give you a lot of great connections for you to really understand the types of things that make our professors very excited, and the types of experiences that our students can walk away with, knowing that they've really made a really incredible impact in terms of their own learning, but also being able to walk away with very marketable skills when they consider their opportunities for employment in the future. And again, that's certainly something we focus on quite a bit. And so I think it's really important to recognize that opportunities for career and professional development are a very strong focus of ours at LMU. And so you can see here that they are a lot of different companies, a lot of different programs that we focus on. Here on the upper left, you can see that for the class of 2018, and so that's the class we have the strongest amount of information right now. You can see that the average that the students who are seeking employment were just 1% of the graduating class. And so you kind of get a sense that it's definitely a type of education that really strongly focuses on the students' abilities to be marketable and to really connect with professional experiences when they leave the campus. And so we do work very closely with our Office for International Students and Scholars to offer opportunities for curricular practical training, internship experiences, as well as optional practical training, so types of postgraduate job experiences that students can consider as part of the student visa process. It's important to recognize too that LMU graduates work in lots and lots and lots of different areas. So you can see some of the most innovative companies in the world are on this list, some of the most impressive names of places that really focus on a lot of great opportunities for our students. You can also see that there's a lot of really great graduate schools that are very excited to work with our students as well. So the idea being that these are the types of students, so when they finish their degrees, we're very proud of them and we're very excited about their future because we know that an LMU education has prepared them very well to be successful in whatever endeavor they choose when they leave campus. And so I definitely encourage you to take a look at this website here, outcomes.lmu.edu, and you can find a lot more information there about the types of places that our students have gone on to and the types of experiences that are available to them. And we're very indebted to the fact that we have a phenomenal career and professional development office, and CPD staff are experts in their fields and really provide a lot of incredible resources for our students to ensure they're professionally prepared to be successful. Another thing that's exciting about LMU recently, and it seems like a lifetime ago, and it was only a few months ago, it's incredible. LMU was the epicenter of the Democratic debate, which took place in December. And so this is an opportunity for LMU to be on the world and global stage, to celebrate the free exchange of ideas, to give the opportunity for the Democratic candidates at the time, who've now been narrowed down essentially to Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders in terms of the presidency, to really offer the opportunity to provide their vision to the world while they were staying on our campus. And so I think the exciting part for us as an institution was that a number of students were involved in the preparation and the execution of this debate. And so it really gave our students a really incredible hands-on experience, again, of the connections they can see off the campus, but bringing them exactly right to our doorstep. And so again, it was certainly a very, very proud, exciting moment for us as an institution to host a Democratic debate. And we're all, of course, very intrigued to see what will happen in the national US presidential election, which will take place in November 2020. And so that'll be certainly something, should you choose to come to LMU, that I'm sure will be a frequent topic of conversation in your first semester. And then again, we're blessed to have a place that's a very dynamic campus for a lot of student life, a type of place that our students are very, very excited to be a part of and very engaged with the campus. So you have our Buster here, our therapy dog, who, as you can imagine, is one of the most popular residents on the campus, but also a ton of different clubs and organizations as well. So you mentioned previously the surfing club, but that could be anything from athletic experiences to organizations that focus on community service, to professional organizations, improv comedy groups, theater groups, a lot of really great ways for you to explore your interests. And so we find the students who really enjoy their experience on our campus are not just going to class and engaging with our phenomenal faculty and then going back to their rooms, but they're very much involved in the life of the campus on the evenings and the weekends, the type of people that are very excited about engaging on a lot of different levels with their peers. And you can see a lot of different possibilities in terms of the social life here on campus, a great Fallapalooza picture here on the bottom. But also we offer a lot of great opportunities for students to explore, not just Los Angeles, but around the country and around the world as well. So one of the programs that, again, the Career and Professional Development Office offers is a career track where students have the experience of going with other LMU students, connecting with LMU alumni in areas around the United States, around the world. and again, understanding what careers could be like in those particular areas as well. And it all starts with our international student orientation. So we'll talk a little more about that in just a second. But again, we really focus on ensuring that you have an opportunity to connect with your students and your peers with the very first day you step foot on campus. Mentioned previously about Silicon Beach, so I won't mention too much more about this, but just to reinforce the fact that this is the hub of the tech industry in Los Angeles. And although this picture is, this one here is a little bit small here on the upper left, you can see that this is actually Bluff. This is our campus here. Just on the other side, so immediate neighbors of ours are some of the most innovative companies in the world. Esports is one of the things that's really shot up over the last few years in Los Angeles. We're very proud to have a brand new esports lounge that just opened a few weeks ago, as well as a phenomenal esports team who are proficient in a lot of different games as well. So if you're a gamer and you're interested in that opportunity, there's a lot of great experiences for you to consider. But again, these are just a handful of the 500 different startups and phenomenal tech companies that are located right on our doorstep. And so I definitely encourage you to explore all the different possibilities that are available to you. And that's certainly something that's very, very exciting about the location of the campus. And the amazing part about this whole area is that really it's only been out in the last decade or so. So we've really scratched the surface and seeing what the potential might be. And I think the connections that LMU students will have with these companies will be exciting to watch in the future. And again, the list of all the games that LMU, the esports team is a part of. So here's a few things about your next steps. And I won't go through these too quickly because I want to make sure that, that you can understand, they can digest them. But also just to reinforce the fact that futurelions.lmu.edu, that's your student portal if you're not familiar with it. And that is by far your best resource to understand what your next steps would be in terms of enrolling in LMU in the fall. So first of all, we are asking the students to submit a tuition deposit of $500 by May 1st. The idea there is that by submitting your tuition deposit by May 1st, you have the opportunity to start with the registration process, to apply for housing, to take care of all those different aspects to ensure that once we start class up again in August, you are in a great position to be successful on the campus. Again, we do also ask if you are planning to live on campus to submit a housing deposit as well. We really encourage students as much as possible to submit both of those deposits at the same time. But if you want to give yourself some time to think about whether you want to live on campus or not, we certainly offer you that opportunity to consider that a little bit longer as well. But again, the goal is to really make sure that you're prepared for the online registration process, which does begin in May. Students are asked to take a math placement test and to also to take some other steps to ensure that you're prepared to meet with your advisor and ensure that you have a really strong first semester on our campus. And so the idea is that we want to make sure you take care of those steps in May so that you're prepared for a appointment with your advisor in June. And then we also encourage students to become familiar with My Status, which is through our Office for International Students and Scholars, which is the organization on campus that actually runs the international student orientation and also helps students with any questions they may have about the student visa process, about issuing any kind of immigration or any kind of student visa documents, handling any kind of student visa regulations, things like that. But again, just to reinforce, the best place for you to look for any of this information is futurelions.lmu.edu. And again, it's to reinforce how important international student orientation is. We recognize it's a little bit unique. There are a lot of other institutions that may have a 2-day or a 3-day international student orientation. Ours is a full week. And the idea behind that is for you to settle in, to be able to move into your residence halls early, to really have a good sense of the type of questions that you may face as an international student, to give you the freedom to be able to ask those questions in a smaller environment. We have a phenomenal staff of international student orientation leaders who really do a great job of welcoming our new students. And so the idea includes that things like questions about US classroom culture, questions about dealing with the roommates, questions if you do live in a residence hall with a shared room, questions about how to adjust to living in Los Angeles. And the other thing is that we really do make sure that you have a chance to explore the city while you're with us as well. And so traditionally, the International Student Orientation culminates in a trip to go see Mickey Mouse in Disneyland. And so we are very excited to students to be able to explore that wonderful, magical place and really enjoy the time that they have there as well. There is also a parent portion. So we do encourage parents to stay on August 21st and 22nd, again, to help build community amongst themselves, and to provide some really important resources for them to ensure that they feel confident about dropping you off with us for the semester. The other thing I'm going to re-emphasize as well is that we are very excited to be available to you in a lot of different ways. We understand that we unfortunately are not able to offer you the chance to come see campus yourself this spring. We would love to go see you as well. That's certainly a big part of the experiences that Christy, Paul, and Ronnie and together the four of us have had in terms of really connecting with students where you are. And so we are bringing that experience to you virtually. So I would certainly encourage you to consider coming to our office hours if you have additional questions. We will be offering that right after this presentation today, for example, for you to connect individually with Christy, specifically today. But then again, we staff those a couple times a day, every day. And the goal being that we offer them at times that hopefully will work with your schedule. But always, of course, you can always connect with us at international@lmu.edu. We also will be offering other presentations over the course of the year as well. So making sure we bring students together in terms of providing them a chance to connect with each other, students from other regions, students who have similar majors of interest, things like that. Also, hopefully by now you should have received, or you will receive shortly, a WhatsApp congratulatory message. We certainly encourage students to connect with us via WhatsApp as well, or WeChat. So whatever you feel most comfortable using. We are very excited as admissions staff members to connect with you. And we also have some current students who are excited to connect with you as well. So again, if you feel comfortable texting us, we are more than happy to connect with you that way as well. But again, you can find all this information on our website, which is international.lmu.edu/visit. So again, I'm very, very excited that you've taken the time to taking a little bit of time of your day to spend with us today. This is our amazing team. And so we are very excited to be connecting with you. And at this point, I'll go ahead and open up for questions. So actually, before we do that, I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And if I could, I'd like to have Christy, Paul, and Ronnie just say hello briefly. And then we're more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Via the chat would probably be easiest. And so Christy, just share the information about the post-presentation chat. So Christy, Paul, if you want to unmute yourselves and say hello, that'd be very helpful.
Hi, my name is Christy. I am the Associate Director of International Admission here at Loyola Marymount, and we are super excited that you are on our presentation. Like Dr. Marshner said, we would rather have this conversation face-to-face, but we're all finding innovative ways to rearrange our schedules and provide you with the information necessary for you to make a solid decision about your next 4 years. So thank you for being here.
Hi, I'm Paul, one of the international admission counselors at LMU. It's good to see you all. And as Christy said, it's really great to see you guys and be able to connect with you, to just learn more about you guys, as well as what it means to have an education at LMU. And we hope that this webinar comes close to what you guys can experience in person.
Hi, I'm Ronnie. I'm the other international admission counselor here at LMU. I'm excited to connect with you all virtually and hear all of your questions about LMU.
And to be clear, Ronnie is not actually at the beach right now. She is the one that
Just a creative way to get outside for right now.
But again, we do have a beach very, very close. And so we're excited that currently, just to be aware, California is in a shelter-in-place, stay-at-home order. But we do anticipate once that is lifted to very much enjoy the outdoors as we always have in the past. So with that being said, if you have any questions for us as a team, we'd love to hear those now. You're welcome to ask them via the chat. And we'll be happy to respond to them as best we can. So I guess a good place to start, let's see. A good place, a question that we've had, that's a great question. We've had some questions about scholarship timelines as well, so I'm happy to answer those as well. It's important to know that we have 3 different rounds of admitted decisions at LMU. So if you've been admitted early decision or early action, by now you should have received your scholarship notification. So if you have, if you're admitted regular decision, the scholarship decisions are actually being reconsidered right now. We anticipate them being sent out this week. So you will receive a notification when that becomes available, and we will send a lot more information about it to you directly. You'll receive that as a notification on the application status page, which hopefully you're aware and have used previously. But if not, it's the same. If you go back to, I can put it here in the chat as well. So the idea being that it is, there we go. So the website that you want to take a look at, if I can actually get this to work, is right here. So I'm wondering if Paul or Christy or Ronnie, if you want to talk a little about what the Honor Society looks like at LMU and the honors programs we offer.
Yeah, so for the honors programs, sometimes you'll be considered automatically for it. There is a separate application that you can find. Let me go, actually, Christy or Ronnie, could you find that application and link it while I talk about it? And so the honors program is something that you apply for. And then if you are accepted, you'll be put into a program exclusive for those students. A lot of those students tend to also be students who have received our trustee scholarships. It's a really great community for students to have a higher learning experience. They'll be taking classes that are typically not available for other students as well. It's a really awesome experience, and I would definitely go ahead and apply for it if that's something that you are interested in. And it is definitely something that is, I think the deadline is coming soon for that as well.
Okay, thanks, Paul. So Ronnie, we have another question about parking on campus. I don't know if you could talk a little about that, of how to find parking on campus and whether students are allowed to have cars or not.
Yeah, so there's a few different options to park on campus, a few different lots, but you'll definitely have options to park on campus, not necessarily an assigned parking space, but there'll be different parking lots that you'll be close to either your dorm or your classes that you'll be able to park at.
Okay. The other thing to keep in mind too is that we do provide information about opting in or opting out of the parking permit process. And so you're more than welcome to have a car on campus if you'd like to have one. Certainly you can get around to Los Angeles without having that as a concern. But if you choose not to have a car on campus, you're welcome to opt out of that parking fee, and then you can save a little bit of money as well.
I see Anna has a question regarding how international students adapt to life on campus. Being a Jesuit institution, we do have many resources for students. There is an office for student psychological services. There's Office of International Student and Services. There's academic support. We have many different student organizations on campus, 200. If at any point you feel that you need someone to help you understand the resources that are on campus, certainly our team and the Office of International Student Services are here to serve you. How we've seen students adapt on campus, because obviously you're going to be thousands of miles away from home. I recommend that perhaps you should consider living on campus. So therefore you will be very close to the resources that are on campus. Plus it gives you an opportunity to establish relationships and friendships that will go with you through your 4 years on campus. And if you would like to chat with a student that is a current student and ask them directly, we welcome you to reach out to us, and we will put you in contact with current students. So you can get that student to student perspective, and maybe you can ask questions that you wouldn't perhaps ask in this format.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Christy. And I can mention there's a few questions regarding COVID-19 and what that impact might be for the fall semester. I can reassure you that any student who's admitted for the fall semester and chooses to come to LMU, so submits a deposit by May 1st and moves forward through that process, we are committing to make sure that a student, if for whatever reason is not able to come in the fall semester, they will have the opportunity to defer their admission until the following January, January 2021, or the following fall semester, to August 2021 as well. We know that, for example, we have a lot of incredible admitted students from Kuwait who unfortunately, as of right now, will not be able to join us in the fall semester due to the Ministry of Education in that country. And so, yes, we definitely understand that that would mean, as of right now, that'll be a very big challenge for them to actually join us in August. And if that continues to be the situation, then we will be happy to let them start in January or the following fall, whatever works best for them. So we are very much keeping in mind that with this whole situation, we are very much honoring the admission decisions that we've made. We definitely want you to finish out this semester as best you can, and the rest of this academic year as best you can, but we will not be considering students differently in any way because of all the things that are well out of your control. And so we're responding to the COVID situation as best we can, and certainly are excited to welcome students as soon as we can to campus. Paul, there's a bunch of questions about working on campus. I don't know if you could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so definitely as an international student, you can definitely work on campus. In fact, our international admissions office, we hire international students to work for us. And there's various different opportunities on campus as an international student to work. Some students can actually have more than one position, and that you'll work through just the job posting on our university page. But yes, just because you're an international student doesn't mean that you're not allowed to work on campus.
Okay, and then we also have a lot of really great international students who actually work in our office right now. Looks like Marcus is very, very excited about asking his question. So go ahead, Marcus. What can we do for you?
Hi. Sorry I have to speak it because I actually can't type with both hands right now. My question is regarding, you said, it was mentioned earlier that you are situated really close to Silicon Beach, where there are a lot of businesses there as well.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, in like your junior or senior year in LMU, will those companies allow to take internships from students at LMU?
Absolutely. Thanks for the question, Marcus. Christy, you want to talk a little bit about the CPT process?
Sure. I was just going to pull the website up for everyone. So we have a robust program on campus, office on campus that really mentors students not only in their junior and senior year, but they really start in their freshman year. And in fact, before you start classes, before you land on campus, they have you take a personality test so that they understand sort of who you are and your academic interests. And they mentor you and they follow you through that evolution from high school student to professional. So it's everything from understanding what it is that you're interested in, even if you don't understand what you perhaps want to do in the future. Again, we are 99% employed 6 months after graduation. So 50% of our students come in undeclared, meaning they're not sure what to major in. And this robust program helps mentor the students and helps them understand, what they're reading, what they're spending their time doing, what their interests are, what they're looking for intersectionality of that for a vocation. And so the Office of Career and Professional Development, once again, not only offers internships your junior and senior year, but also that mentoring process for you to really understand the resources on and off campus. And in fact, I was sitting at a table with the dean of the business program, and she stated that companies call and list their internships so often that she says that she felt a bit embarrassed because we didn't have enough students to fulfill the demand for the internships. So just to give you an idea, because we are so close to these types of companies, it's not unheard of to have students have internships at Tesla, at SpaceX, at YouTube, etc. So is it possible in your junior and senior year? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Christy.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Thanks, Lucas. If I could ask Ronnie to explain a little bit about the I-20 process and what that entails, that'd be helpful. Just the basics in terms of what kind of documents they need to do and things like that, how they move forward with that.
Sure. So you should get an email if you haven't gotten one already about logging into My Status. So My Status will be your go-to for any visa information that you need. So you'll need to provide a bank statement. This bank statement will prove they could pay for your tuition. So the amount is about $70,000, give or take there. You'll also have to provide your passport information and other different documents that will allow for us to approve your I-20. And then if you have any questions along the way, you could always email international@lmu.edu and we should be able to help you as well.
Mm-hmm. And just important to reinforce as well that the office who actually issues that document is our Office for International Students and Scholars. And the OISS is also the office that works with you in terms of maintaining student visa regulations and things like that. So we actually will help to funnel you to My Status so that you can do any of those processes through OISS. But as a general rule, as part of issuing the student visa, and so this isn't a regulation that LMU has, this is a nationwide regulation for issuing a student visa. You have to demonstrate that you have the ability to pay for 1 academic year today. And then once you submit that financial documentation, that's the last financial requirement that you'll have moving forward. But again, that's a requirement. So we estimate that our total cost of attendance is closer to $73,000 for next year. And so taking in any kind of reducing that by any scholarships you may have received, that would be the expectation that you would demonstrate on a financial statement to be able to receive a student visa to come to the United States.
And I see a question of when is the final deadline for the I-20. We'll start processing the I-20s probably mid-April to late April. So as soon as you can get all of your information in, the better for you, just so we could be able to send you your I-20 and any information that you may need.
And I was another question here. So again, as far as any kind of questions about AP, IB, A levels, any of those kind of things, I would just say this: the situation is still very fluid, but our intention is not by any means to rescind anyone's admission or anything like that because of the fact that they can no longer take those exams. We're just looking for additional clarification from those governing bodies. But again, we are fully anticipating moving forward with our admissions decisions as they're currently issued. And so in other words, all of you who've been admitted at LMU would certainly maintain that admission decision, assuming that you complete your secondary school to the best of your ability in whatever circumstances that allows. Okay. Can we talk a little about the application process for housing? Christy or Paul, you want to talk about that?
So you guys saw the pictures of our new residence halls that are opening this fall. I would recommend as soon as you submit your tuition deposit to also submit your application for housing and your housing deposit. So as soon as you submit your application and your deposit for housing, it's a two-step process, then you are higher up on the hierarchy of being able to select where it is that you want to live on campus. So in order to submit your application and your housing deposit, you first must deposit to do your tuition deposit. So step 1, tuition deposit, steps 2 and 3, your housing and deposit and your application for housing.
And again, it's important to know as part of that application process, you do get a chance to indicate what your preference would be if you were to be placed in a residence hall where you have a roommate. And so the idea being that you would then be able to demonstrate kind of like a match.com kind of situation where you can see personality profiles and see who you might want to be placed into a room with. So that is one possibility for you to consider as well in terms of matching with someone else. And we do integrate our international students into the residence halls as much as possible. So we don't offer a exclusive residence hall for international students, the thought being that we really want to make sure you connect with domestic students as well. So we really want to make sure that students feel very much integrated into the campus culture. A lot of questions about the math placement test. Paul, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so the math placement test will be done online. I believe it should take about an hour to do. It'll be on your Future Lions portal. And so it's pretty streamlined. There's different checkpoints you have to meet on Future Lions, whether it's registration or or rather doing the math placement to get into registration. And so I may be wrong, but I believe the test itself is adaptive. So what that means is the more you get correct in a row, the harder the test becomes. And that's just to see where your math level is so that you're placed into the correct math course once you're on campus.
Great. Thanks, Paul. And we have a lot of really great questions here. We're kind of running out of time, so we'll try to respond to as many as we can. But just to reinforce again that we will have office hours starting at 5 p.m., so just shortly after we finish the session, if you would like to connect further with Christy. I get a lot of questions about orientation as well. Can you want to talk about that, Christy or Paul?
Paul, would you like to respond? I'm responding to a few of the questions.
Yeah, I mean, so orientation is a really awesome time to meet all of the students that have been admitted in your year, as well as students who are orientation leaders, who are current international students, as well as US citizens that are just really keen on meeting you guys. As Ed mentioned in his presentation, it's also an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have in regards to what's like to learn in a college, in a US college environment, how to adapt quickly, any restrictions based off of your visa as well. And there's also exciting opportunities to explore LA. There's also a beach outing to Santa Monica. At the last day, you guys get to go to Disneyland. And so it's really a great time for you guys to form a community before all of the other students arrive on our campus.
Great. Thank you so much. What else? Let's see, what else do you think would be worth considering? Undecided students. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. What is it? What does the first year look like? What kind of classes do you take? I'd be happy to answer that question. So first of all, we do have a very extensive what we call our core curriculum, and so the real magic of the core curriculum is that you are interwoven with the rest of the student body in those courses. So let's say you're studying film. You're also going to be in a class with students who are studying engineering, economics, students who are studying dance or music. And so the idea is really to get a chance to connect with all those different perspectives in the same classroom. The courses we're talking about include things like English composition, philosophy, theology, first year seminar, courses in the sciences, courses in the arts. And so the idea is to have a really broad-based perspective. And so if you come in undecided, you get a chance to take all those courses that go towards your major and are required of all students. And then you have up to 2 years to decide what major you'd like to choose and still have the opportunity to graduate on time. And so you work with their advisors on campus. Typically how a student determines exactly what they want to study is just working with an advisor, working with the professors here on campus. So maybe you take a history class and determine, that's really what excites you and you really want to continue in that area, or a business course or whatever it might be. And so I think that's really the way that a lot of students determine what they want to study. But it's important to recognize that it is very common for students to come in undecided. For example, we have a large number of students this year who are admitted into the College of Business undecided. Again, they take the business core and get a chance to explore different areas of interest before deciding to choose something like marketing, or applied information management systems, or entrepreneurship, or things like that. So the idea being that you get a chance to really settle in and decide exactly what you want to study. It's important to recognize that this system is a little bit different than what you might find in a British style system where you're focused very exclusively on one area of interest. Our goal is to really make sure you have a broad-based education so that you can really explore and consider a lot of different factors when you come across a challenge in the future to be able to offer a lot of different perspectives to that pursuit. Again, all students are required to start to take the math placement test. And again, we do find that the students who are undecided are very much welcomed and very much integrated into the student body and offer a lot of different flexibility in terms of what their major, what they might want to pursue in the future. Okay. I'm going to say a couple more minutes. I would say, why don't we each take a minute and just talk about maybe some things to consider as you're trying to determine whether LMU will be the place for you. Christy, you want to start with that?
So some things to consider, and if we have admitted you at Loyola Marymount, it means that you have been admitted to a great number of places, and it's really rather difficult to understand the difference between the identity, the DNA of one university and the next. We have large state research institutions that are near us that have fabulous sports teams, also a large private institution with a large sports team. And that unifying factor of the student body really is sort of that like gathering around and supporting that sports culture. We do have Division I sports on our campus, and it's fun to go and support those teams, but that unifying factor on campus is not the support of a football team, for example. It's not necessarily that support for a basketball team. If I were to define the DNA or that identifying piece of LMU, it would be service and social justice and the commitment to your community and how it is that we give back and make a difference in our world. So once you're considering universities, also know that this idea of giving back isn't just the student to the community, it's student to student, it's staff to student, it's faculty to student, it's student to faculty. So it's a very collaborative type of community. Some things to consider also, you know, some universities are very competitive, some universities are very collaborative. Once again, this is a description of a very collaborative type of atmosphere. So there's a few things that you consider when you're taking a look at who you are and considering where you would thrive and what type of environment you would thrive. I would say things to consider: be honest with yourself, really self-reflect, and ask some of those hard questions during this decision process about the identity of the university and seeing yourself in that type of setting. I hope that's helpful.
All right, Paul, you want to take a step?
Yeah, I think just to reiterate what Christy said, I think one thing to consider is if community is really important for you. I think being a medium-sized school, it's a lot easier on our campus, I feel like, to find that community, especially as an international student who's, you know, potentially traveling thousands of miles from home and making LMU their new home. When you're on campus, you'll see students saying hi to each other, but not just hi, but like, you know, it's not just like just a nod like that, but it's like, you know, they're actually saying like, hey, you know, how's it going? You know, haven't seen you in a while. And so people are actually, our students are really driven by that community aspect. And I think that's an important aspect of college life and college experience at LMU. Sometimes it may be difficult to find that community at a larger institution. And so if community is something that is an important part of where you decide to go, I think LMU is a school that can really provide that.
Okay, Ronnie?
Yeah, going off both my colleagues, I'm not only an international admission counselor here, I'm also a graduate student here at LMU in our School of Education. And even as a graduate student, I could feel that sense of community. I've been able to get involved in different activities as just a graduate student. And so this is a place where you can not only challenge yourself, but also find that collaborative and that supportive community to help you find new things and new ventures. So for example, I took advantage of an alternative break trip, which is a mini like study abroad focused on social justice here at LMU, and have been able to learn so much. So there's a lot of different things you could get involved in and challenge yourself with, whether it be social justice related, or if you're interested in surfing, because we are so close to the beach. I've never tried it before. There's a surf club here. There's a ski club here, like Dan mentioned. There's so many different, you could go out to the mountains or the beach in one day. So there's a lot of different things you get involved in, and you have a lot of supportive people helping you along the way.
Okay, thanks. And I guess I'll just say that from my perspective, what's really exciting about LMU is just what amazing a place it is to study in Los Angeles. I'm relatively new to Los Angeles myself. I've been here for about 4 years now. I've always been incredibly amazed by how welcoming and how exciting a place it is to be. And so I think that whatever your interest might be, whether it's in technology, whether it's in the arts, whether it's in business, whether it's in the performing arts, whether it's in more of the sense of just being able to explore a place that has incredible opportunities, but also more of a laid back atmosphere. I think that's certainly something that's very exciting about attending LMU. And I think the students who are part of the campus really make up such an incredible, dynamic, just really exciting group of people. And so it's exciting to be able to be part of that community every day for me, and also to recognize that we always are looking to have international perspectives and ideas from around the world that are coming to the campus and really enriching our student body. So we would obviously love for you to be part of the class of 2024. We are excited to be able to connect with you over the course of the next few weeks as you consider your options. And I apologize that we weren't able to get to all of our questions right now, but I do encourage you to follow up with Christy if you'd like to do that during our office hours. And again, hopefully you've seen the information to do that already on the page here. But if not, you can always connect with us at just international@lmu.edu. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today, and we are excited to connect with you going forward. Thank you so much.